What is up, everybody out there across the cookie verse? It's your boy Sandz the Cookie Man. Y'all know I do my auction thing on Fridays, sometimes Monday with the pop-ups. But tonight we're gonna do something fun. You know, sometimes I sit and I chat with both my wife and my son, and we talk about collectibles. My wife is a big Lego collectible. She's a big Lego fan. My son loves Legos as well. Y'all know me, comics and all kinds of posters and stuff like that. And we were just talking about the market in general and like collectability. And so tonight I'm just gonna chat with you guys about Hobbie Culture. So welcome to Hobbie Culture with your boy Sandz the Cookie Man. Y'all know what we do around here. So everybody, as you come through, smash that thumbs up. Make sure you guys save the show and come back for the auctions. Yeah, we do auctions every Friday nights, like I said, and also pop up sometimes on Mondays. So I got a lot of goodies here as always. But tonight we're gonna talk a little bit about a few things. One, I got things like the state of the collectible market, right? How are your Funko collections looking, right? Let's talk about that tonight, because I know here in my household we have tons and tons of Funkos, and the price from 2022 is not, what did Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price is not today's price, and that's the complete opposite. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. There's a lot of top 10 trending shows on YouTube as well, and so I wanted to take a look at what all of those shows are saying, kind of like in aggregate. And what I'm noticing this week has a lot to do with like indies, man. Indies are kicking ass, from Dork, White Skies, which is like Nectar just dropped, Murder Drones. Like, so just to talk through some of that, like I feel like the indie market is on fire right now. Also got a little section that we're going to talk about, because y'all know I got these cards everywhere too. So Inspectah the Deck, just a little talk, a little chat about what's new in Magic, what's new in Lorcana, what's new in sports cards. And then lastly, we're going to connect the dots, right? Because a lot of times people want to know what's going on between, the movie specs and how comics and cards may be influenced. And so that's what we're going to focus on a little bit tonight. So come on in, man. Y'all know I talk a lot during my auctions, so I just figured go back to how we used to do with wine and cheese and just have a little bit of a dialogue, for a couple minutes while we kick it. So that's kind of tonight's rundown. We'll talk a little bit about kind of Marvel's next phase, what's going on with Pokemon cards, as you guys know, and then some of the speculation market. So we can talk about all of that. But let's jump into, let me just see. What's up, Warlock Comics? Warlock says Funkos are dead. Funkos are dead. So, let's jump right into it, right? We're going to go into the state of the collectibles, and we're going to talk about Funko. So let me let's do that right there, because I think that is um, what everyone has. Whether or not you're a collectible, whether or not you're a collector, you're a flipper, whatever it is, right? At one point in time, Funkos were so hot that you couldn't even get certain Funkos. How many of y'all remember going to like the Funko shop? I swear we were just talking about this, me and the missus, like going online, like on a Friday morning to try and catch a Funko drop, whether it be for like a New York City Comic Con, or it was just a hot release, and I'm talking sold out instantly, right? And within the first like 30 seconds, you get stuck in the queue and not be able to get it. And what happened, I think, is Funko went from a collectible to a toy. And that's the difference when a business changes its model from we're going to make something very limited, rare, to we're going to make this mass produced and available everywhere. You now have changed up the model, and what that does is it signals a shift in the collectible industry, right? People no longer feel like they have value in these things. A lot of people, collectors, I got another question for you. Are collectors hoarders? Do you feel like collectors are hoarders? So let me know if you think collectors are hoarders, or if they're just, collecting, is just normal behavior, right? But going back to the Funko market, the company decided to go from a collectible company to a toy business. And I will say there was a fundamental shift, because what they saw, only if you collect Turok ones. That's what's up, Warlock. Warlock said only if you collect Turok ones, man. It's hard not to hoard, Tacoma says. That's that. Shout out to my man Tacoma Comics, your favorite teachers in the building. It is hard not to hoard. And when I look around, my dining area, my wife is like, when are you clearing this area up? I swear I was only supposed to be in this area for like a couple of weeks, and then I was supposed to take everything to the basement, and I've taken over the dining area. So I gotta get out of here. I gotta take all my stuff back to the basement. But shifting back to the Funkos really quickly, what I saw in the market, and you guys let me know in the chat if you saw it similar. Funko said, you know what? People are selling our stuff out, buying our stuff out, and then putting it on eBay for 5 times the price, right? So let's say you had a Funko, let's say you had this Super Saiyan 3 Funko dropped, right? And it would sell out on Funko Shop within a minute, right? But then even before it got on before it launched on the Funko site, there were pre-sales on eBay, right? And once this sold out on Funko, the eBay sites would go from, maybe the pre-sale was like maybe $50, then it would jump up to $75 as it started selling, then it'd be at $100. And so the secondary market was on fire. And that's not only for Funkos, it was comics, it was other things, but specifically talking about Funkos themselves, right? You had the whole market moving with the secondary market, right? So even if something wasn't super hot, like to look at visually, it may have been just hot because it was so limited in item. And Funko did a good job initially of limiting the items. You might have had something that had a 250 piece count, or a 500 count, or even the regular drops was only like maybe 2,000, right? So 2,000 out of the millions who were trying to get that, and it became a rare collectible. Well, Funko said, not only do I want to, raise the price on what this is, but I want a piece of the secondary market too. So, like eBay and Funko kind of partnered up, where Funko was selling their Funkos through eBay, right? So you had to, sometimes the launch would be through eBay, sometimes the launch would be through Funko. And so it became very weird. But on top of that, the number of the collectible went from maybe 2,000 to 10,000 to like 50,000. So you would see something that used to sell out in a minute just sit on the Funko website now and not move. And you're like, oh, okay, that one must not have been very hot, right? But what happened is the secondary market slowed down. So I guess the question is, does the secondary market drive collectability? And that's a question for you guys out there. So we got more questions than answers right now, right? So Tacoma says, let's see, he says, once I took the risk of putting a few boxes in the basement, I felt way less like a hoarder. I agree, man. I agree. I'm gonna make that shift. I'm gonna keep you guys updated on what that looks like. But we got the basement. We can build it out and space it out. I once flooded my basement, so I am definitely scared of flooding again. But that was me rushing out one morning. I left the sink on and came home. My dogs were floating around in the basement, like, hey, thanks for the swimming pool, Dad. And I was like, So that was a fun time. My wife was not very happy with me, not very happy about me flooding the basement that time, but we got it rebuilt and we have a functioning basement. But going back to the Funko itself, right? With regards to the collectability of the Funko, I think ultimately where we have it today is we saw Funko trying to throw. They had made so many that didn't sell. They were trying to bury them and get the tax write-offs for that instead of giving it away. Obviously, they couldn't give it away because they wouldn't be able to get the tax write-offs and stuff like that. But I guess my question is, can Funkos make a comeback if they truly got unique again and made their product super limited, super rare, or not? And if you think so, would you hold on to your collectibles, your Funkos right now? Or would you be selling? So right now we are in the state of the collectible market section, and I think Funkos are an interesting toy right now that could be going the way of the dodo, similar to Beanie Babies, similar to other products of that type. But what I hear from the stores are saying people are coming in and selling their whole collections to them. They're getting them at a great price, and they're able to mark them up some and sell them because people are coming into the shops and they're still thank you, I appreciate it. And they're coming in and they're able to people are coming into the shops and they're looking at comics and cards, and then they see a Funko that they didn't have, and it's not like super overpriced like it used to be, and people are still buying them. So I'm wondering if since there still is a market for the collectibles, can you still make it up that way? So let's talk about that. All right. So All right, that's the state of Funkos. I just want to know if you guys think Funkos can make it back. Dota has a blank prototype that was the only given out to event volunteers. Oh, you know what? See, and what's crazy is the earlier the Funko, obviously, they were so new and so rare that their collectability has stayed up there in terms of their value. So, like, if you have Funkos from 2012, 2013, 2014, it is still like super expensive. Meanwhile, anything from like 2020, 2021, they mass produced and it's gotten. And then also, there were, fakes. People still have to worry about fakes in the market and stuff like that. Cali Comics says, "Let's go, Funko." The only drawback is that the fake ones make it tough to know. True. With any collectible, people are going to see a way to make money. We see it in the comic market right now, right? I have a prime example, and we're going to shift to comics very shortly. But Dork, right? Someone just took this cover and made a medal. Someone without the permission of the artist or Image made a medal and was selling it on eBay. Straight up said, we got only 6 of these metal covers on eBay, and they are literally, someone bought one. And that's where you have the fakes in the market right now, which is crazy. So it goes back to what Callie said about knowing the fakes. You got to be able to spot them, but it happens in Pokemon cards, it happens in One Piece cards, sports cards. Like I said, anytime you have something that's collectible that people value, someone's going to try and take advantage. So you, as a consumer, have to be able to be on your P's and Q's. Let me make sure I say what's up. Crack Toe says, "Are my Beanie Baby still worth anything?" The answer is yes. It's a niche market, and there are still some of those Beanie Babies that are worth thousands. But as time goes by, some of those are gonna gain in value again, because it's kind of like everything that's in the 80s for like Gen Xers, right? Because we grew up on those times where we see all those cartoons and we see Transformers and He-Mans and all of those figures. When you go back and you become an adult and you start making money, you now are able to go back and buy those things, and you're like, oh, this was part of my nostalgia, right? So Sully, my son is building, speaking of Lego, my son is over here building the Lego brickheads of Monsters Inc. But yeah, so that part of Beanie Babies are gonna rebound, and there will be a niche market, and then eventually they're gonna be so kind of like part of history that they'll gain in value again, because people are gonna want to collect them for some reason. So I saw 2 Furbies at the con. I just went to, hey man, listen, Teddy Ruxpin, oh my god, Cabbage Patch Dolls. Anybody remember Garbage Pail Kids? All of those things, man, have value. What's up, Harm's Way Shad? Yes, nostalgia will break the bank. And that's part of what we're going to shift into now in terms of the market. Let's talk about the comics in the market right now, right? Because the state of the market, the state of the collectible market has shifted from Marvel and DC to indie. Indie, if you guys remember, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, what was the big comics? You had Something is Killing the Children. You had what is it? Die, right? Die. You had, so indies were dominating, like, or a big push in like 2019, 2020. Kanto, yep, you had a bunch of those that were driving the market, right? And what happened was the market then got flooded, and everyone was chasing what's going to be the next big something is killing the children, who's going to be the next big artist to drop. I remember beyond what was there was so barbaric. Barbaric is getting hot again, right? There's so many of those comics that were actually great too, like Nottingham. Indies were just killing it. And what we're seeing right now is there is a run on indie spec. I think people are like, anything that Image is putting out number one right now, or anything that is dropping that has an inkling of heat, it's on fire. Dork is a great comic, right? Dork is fun. It's it kind of has that animation, like almost like a Disney, a gummy bear type of animation. It's got like prophecy to it, so it has something behind it. But you got things like murder drones. You got things like what else? You got Nectar that just dropped. So there are a bunch of indies. White Sky, right? White Skies. So everything that is coming out, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, it can't just be like people are just that excited about the comic. There has to be spec driving it, right? Because Nectar just dropped and they're like $25 to $40 out the gate. Dork is at 90 to 100 for the first prints, right? And we haven't seen that in a couple of years when these indie number ones were dropping like that. So do you guys think that this is spec, or do you guys think that this is here to stay and that these comics are actually like some hits? Because what do we have? Let's take maybe like the top five. You got Bleeding Heart, you got Dork, you got Nectar. What else? You got White Skies. There's one more. Oh, Murder Drones, right? So let's take those five. Out of those five, which of those do you think actually have staying power? Let's see. Mask is popping right now. Micro Machines. Mask is making a comeback because of the whole universe with regards to Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Mask. So Mask is on fire right now as well. Crack Toast says, I sold one of my Dorks and I'm holding on to my other copies for when it gets optioned. But is Dork going to go the way of Kanto, right? Because Callie brings up a great comic. Kanto was optioned. Kanto was amazing read. And it had that feel like it could be big. Like, I even think Will Smith was tied to it at one point. But what happened to it, right? Did it fall off the cliff? Could it resurge? Is Dork the next Kanto? Dork reminds me of Barbaric, right? You have a shield that is alive and doing things, whereas in Barbaric it had the axe that was going around doing things. So just trying to figure out what's driving that. But do you guys think, out of those five, which ones really have the staying power if you've read all five? So Bleeding Hearts, Dork, White Skies, Nectar, and what was the last one? Murder Drones. So out of those five, what do you think has the ability to have staying power at this point in time? So we shall see. Now, what else is hot in the state of the collectible market? Anything Absolute. And I gotta say, I'm actually excited to read Absolute Green Arrow. You guys seen what he looks like and how I'm excited about Absolute Green Arrow, so we're gonna see about that. Let's see. My man Crack Toast says most shows and movies get their ideas from comics nowadays. I don't disagree with that. There's a lot to be optioned. I wonder also though, like, are shows willing to pay for that, or are they like making something similar at times and then not going with the option comic, right? Like I feel like I was just watching something on Netflix, and I was like, "Whoa, this is just like something's killing the children." I forget what it is, but I was like, "Wow, that." Oh, darn it, it'll come back to me. But I was like, did they just scoop this killing the children's idea and not put it out there? So that would be an interesting one. Callie says, "I don't see any of them holding water long, like The Walking Dead or Invincible." Speaking of which, the Invincible wasn't. I think Invincible, the early issues, maybe one or two, but a lot of them wasn't super hot until the option news and then the show came out. Like my man Tone used to be on my show all the time, promoting, pumping Invincible. Like, yo, y'all gotta get this, and he was selling for crazy cheap. Like he was selling Invincible. And then like Invincible 1 was, a big deal. But I feel like it took a while to really blow up and be big. So a Dork, a Kanto, it may be 10 years before you see that full spike, right? Oh yeah. Absolute Dark Justice would be crazy. Like my wife loves Dark Justice League. She's waiting for any kind of Justice League Dark to come out, because they what happened to Constantine? Like Constantine is never around in any of these other shows, and like I used to love the movie. I loved the cartoons he was in, and like my wife is always like, when are they making another Constantine? Because that's one of her favorite characters. So the Justice League Dark, they've been talking about it for a while. So yep, it did. It lasted over 100 issues, and that's the thing about indies, right? If an indie has buzz, if it can last 100 issues, 200, like Spawn, it just kept going. When you thought it was going to end and it got really low on circulation, it powered through, and now Spawn has a whole new universe. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it from that perspective. So absolutely. But the absolute universe, two questions for you guys. Is the absolute universe killing the rest of DC Comics? Like, does DC regular Batman have any readership left? And is Absolute here to stay? Because I feel like Absolute is still on fire. I know like number ones have slowed down finally, but they're still expensive. But is the Absolute universe killing the rest of the DC Comics, and is it here to stay? That's that question right there. Who that says Funko needs to get their stock price up? They really do, bro. They really do. I think with Funko, and I think they reorged and tried to get rid of some of the product lines that they put out, but it's nowhere near where the hype that it used to be, because they changed to a toy company, and that's where they've lost all kinds of semblance of a collectible versus the toy company, and that's, if it's not limited, if it doesn't have like, the next big thing that's going on, nobody wants it. Like if you told me, all right, what's that? The Hedge Knight, right? Egg Duncan, HBO had the Hedge Knight. If you told me they had a limited Funko to 100 of you know one of like Dunkin' with egg, right? It might have value because people are loving the show, and if you made it limited enough, you could really sell out and you could raise the price. But they're not, that's not what they're doing. They're mass producing it and willing to gamble on people buying one just because, like, hey, I like that show and I want, instead of targeting the market and creating the secondary market, right? I don't think Funko has any secondary market anymore unless it's some of the older, rarer ones. So that's why some of the new stuff just won't move. All right, we're gonna come back to that. Let's see what Callie says. He says, no, not at all. We review all the Batman books in tech. Is excellent with Taylor writing it. Okay. The Fraction Batman is getting really interesting. It's like I have stated there, you already have the end of the Absolute Batman. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, Fraction Batman is picking up. It looks like it is picking up. So we shall see. Oh, they do. Okay. Because what I was hearing was like Absolute Universe was drowning out the other universes, like was totally like taking over all the universes, and no one was buying the other Batmans and stuff like that. So that's good to hear. All right, ladies and gents. Well, that was the first segment. Let's talk. We were talking about the state of the collectible market, and I think comics are healthy. I think the spec is healthy. I think things like Funko and other things of that collectible nature, if you're gonna speculate, you gotta get in when it's hot. Right now, Funko is not. So, is it dead? I don't think it's completely dead, but it's not a seller's market anymore for Funko. So, I would not necessarily jump in to that right there. All right, ladies and gents, let's talk a little bit about what's on these hot lists right now. So, shifting over to the trending 10s, right? What do you have? You have Comic Tom's Hot 10. You have Comic Vision or Renovision, cover price. You got all of these top 10s. And it's interesting because what I'm seeing is there is top 10 of top 10s, right? What is the top 10 of top 10s? But I was looking at a few of them and I was trying to pull out what comics are being shared across all of those. So, for example, Absolute Batman is still in all of those lists. So that's telling me that is, without a doubt, still trending very high. Like, you can't go wrong focusing on Absolute Batman right now. And to be honest with you, even though there's controversy with like the covers for like Absolute Batman 16, the Dan Quinones, you can see the original art for Absolute Batman sold for over $100,000. That Dan Quinones art was phenomenal, in my opinion. That got, people are speculating that there's a signature fraud, that there's, fake covers being made. That's how hot that book is right now. And I had a couple of them, so shout out to those who got those covers early in their collection. So fantastic. But Absolute Batman is still completely on these top 10 lists. Other books though that came across for me, what I've seen consistently, Psylocke. How many people are reading or I don't think that everyone is buying Psylocke to read it. I think you got a lot of cover lovers out there. Would you guys agree? So like Psylocke, awesome mutant, but I think where Psylocke has a lot of popularity and where she gains in value is when she has these covers that really stand out and they become collectible, classics like I think it's the 2009 Silax, Jim Lee, or a couple other Silax that are out there. Mark Spears Monsters, right? I don't think there's very many people reading Mark Spears Monsters, like you said. But I do think that the covers are unique enough. And what's interesting is I thought at this point in time that the monsters covers would be kind of over saturated at this point in time because they kind of all look the same and they have that same feeling, but they're still going strong. Like Mark Spears Monsters are still going strong. MegaCon and a lot of these cons coming up have exclusives for number 9 that'll be dropping, and they're selling out. Like shout out to my boy McClay, Brian McClay. They're Beyond Wednesdays. They're probably on right now as well, but I watch a lot of their Tuesday and Wednesday stuff. And Mark Spears will be on, and he's talking about limited covers for MegaCon and stuff like that. And they're still going crazy. So absolutely, Mark Spears covers are hot. On the top 10 list, Nectar, the 1 in 10. What I'm noticing too though is people are speculating on the ratios. The ratios are crazy right now. The Nectar ratios, the 1 in 10 or the 1 in 25, those are the ones to have, right? The Dork ratios. Look at the segment for Dork. That thing sells for like $400 or $500. It is crazy. But you got and this goes back to FOC, right? Because by the time you try and grab those ratios, they are extremely. They're over $100 at your LCS or on eBay. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna pay that price? I don't think so, right? So people are gonna go back to FOC, and the FOC. Then you gotta buy 100 copies to get these. It's a cycle that is tough. What Callie said, that is one of the biggest variant waves I've ever seen. Yeah, Mark Spears Monsters. Let's talk about it because, and you guys know, if you guys watch my auctions, you know I was frustrated with Mark Spears because I was in his Kickstarter and he kicked me out for complaining. And I was complaining because of two things. One, it kept getting delayed. It got delayed like 3 or 4 times. But two, I also was complaining because he put out these blind bags at the same time as when he was putting out the Kickstarter, and the blind bags had hundreds of covers. And I was like, what is going, like you're actually saturating the market. What is going on, right? So it was killing me. I was like, why are we doing this? And all these people were complaining in the chats because it was, and he just was like, okay, and refunded me. But all I have to say is you gotta find the big guy. You gotta find. He's dropped a Lego. We are on Lego hunt alert. Go ahead, look around on the floor. You gotta find it. So all I have to say, Mark Spears continues to put out covers. What I like is that sometimes he has more unique characters that have popped up, but a lot of the covers do look very similar, or like they'll just be a shade difference. So I was really concerned that they might like have flooded the market for too long, but they're going strong. The LCS had the 1 in 50 for 85. Yeah. See, man, yo, Nectar, you got a FOC it. Let's see, what color is it, JT?
The brown one piece missing.
Uh-oh. I don't know what you did with it. You might gotta go get a replacement from upstairs. Go get a go get a similar one. So, and that's the problem with Legos, ladies and gents. When you drop them, you just can't find it. Yeah, use that light and look on the floor. So, but yeah, let's go back to this top 10 list. The other books on the top 10 list for me right now that I've seen across multiple places, I've seen Murder Drones. So some of the ones we talked about a little bit earlier, I've seen Murder Drones on there.
I don't see it anywhere.
And then what else on the top 10 list? I think Ultimate Spider-Man. These final issues are showing up. All right, big guy. Like I said, go upstairs and get a replacement piece. Go get a similar piece and we can find that one later. Lego. Oh, speaking of Legos, ladies and gents, let me show you. So, recently added to the collection, Lord of the Rings, Sauron. Look at that.
Fell off.
Absolute fire, ladies and gents. I love the Sauron. Speaking of Legos, you got the Pokemons that have just dropped. If you haven't seen those are going to be a hot wave. The Pikachu is about $199. The Flareon, well, the Eevee before the evolution, the Eevee is about $60. So definitely get on the Pokemon waves while they're hot. All right, ladies and gents, let's go into a little bit of connecting the dots, y'all. Let's connect the dots because, well, actually, let's talk about Inspectah the Deck. So, what is hot right now in comics, cards, and other collectible, like, you know, of that nature? And I'm going to put one thing out there right now. TMNT. If you're a TMNT fan, come and get you some TMNT because the Magic the Gathering is amazing. I've been watching some of the openings and the collectibles are going crazy, ladies and gents. So, cards are up there. But the value, so the collector boosters, I would say, for a few different things have gone crazy. One, Final Fantasy collector boosters are still over $1,000. You can't get them. But the collector boosters for Spider-Man were way too expensive for the deck. And Avatar, unfortunately, again, were way too expensive. But at least the TMNT collectibles were amazing. If you watch the openings, they did a lot of texture cards and they did a lot of exclusives, like from the comics, that make a lot of sense. So you will have a blast. That is the problem with the Legos and these little pieces. We're trying to help him find these Legos. He now has
this one.
the missus over here grabbing the Legos. All right, ladies and gents, but from a card market, I would say spec on TMNT Magic the Gathering right now. You're going to want to take a look at that and have some fun. All right, last but not least, let's talk a little bit about connecting the dots. Connecting the dots, and what I mean by this is what's coming out and what comics may be moving because of that. So, Spider-Man Brand New Day is on the horizon. Avengers Doomsday is on the horizon. Vision Quest is on the horizon. And then Daredevil Born Again Season 2. So, and I think what's hot is a book like Spider-Man 50, the introduction of Kingpin is going to be a really big book. Kingpin is one of those characters that I think is going to be in Spider-Man, and you already know he's in Daredevil. So he's going to be a character to really, really focus on in the next, I would say, 6 months, because once Brand New Day comes out and Born Again Season 2 comes out, I think his first appearance, which is already a major key and already a super hot book, is going to be absolutely nuclear. So keep on the lookout for that. All right, ladies and gents. Well, this was just a quick chat about the state of comics, the state of collectibles, and just hanging out with the community once again. Make sure you guys bookmark the channel. Come back to the auctions Friday nights, and we'll have more of these. And if you enjoyed yourself tonight, ladies and gents, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Let me know what you liked about the show, what we can focus on going forward, so that we can make this even more fun. My spec of the week is going to be, I'm going to say, focus on your X-Men, because X-Men are about to go crazy in the next several months. X-Men are going to be phenomenal. And with that, ladies and gents, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with the Cookie Man. We'll be back at it like crack addicts. Thank you. Peace out.